Hey guys, this is Angie McCoy sharing our assignment we had to do this week for the career genogram. This was really helpful to me as it really helped me as I was drawing this out. I could see now that I'm working in the Career Center and College and Student Affairs how exactly we can see where we came from as far as our careers are concerned, and what paths that may have crossed or uncrossed to lead us on the educational journey that we're on today. I did mine old school. I'm just learning how to do slideshows and things like that with our classes. So this is just a rough draft of something you might do. I have my legend down here on the bottom. So you see we have divorced, deceased, male, female, genogram owner, female, paternal, and maternal. And what I'd like to start with is on my father's side. I don't know about my grandfather, so evidently we have to just put unknown. My grandmother, her name was Esther. Don't know much about her. She was a sharecropper. I don't believe she had any formal education, and she was a custodian and a maid for most of her life. My paternal grandfather died pretty early in their marriage, and she had 6 kids to take care of, my father being the baby. So his older brothers and sisters would take care of him quite a bit, and we'll talk about him in just a little while. This probably led to his detriment that he didn't have a father figure around in the house. Over here we have my maternal grandparents. My grandfather was James Stansford Bolton. He was a farmer. He had no college experience. My mother often says she doesn't know how he got my grandmother because she was upper echelon society. She was a very famous pianist around where they were from. Her family, her father was a violinist. They would put on plays from their home before my grandmother was married. She actually did go to college. She went to Guilford. She did not finish, but she majored in music, and she was a very talented pianist. She gave piano lessons to the neighborhood kids, put on plays for the neighborhood, played the organ and the piano in church. So she was very musically inclined. It's kind of odd. It skipped a generation, but my son has a lot of her traits as a musician. Down here towards the middle, this is where I start. This is my father, Joseph Carroll Austin. As you can see, he was 1934. This corresponds to my symbol down here. He is deceased. He was an alcoholic. So he died from alcohol-related issues. He had a first wife. They divorced. But his name was Joseph Carroll Austin. He went to high school. He did not graduate. He worked for Pepsi products as a carpenter. He was an alcoholic. He could not hold down a job. As I said, in reference to Esther raising him as a single mother, I'm not sure whether this probably caused some of his issues. And he and his first wife, they lost a child who drowned. So that led to their divorce and him drinking either further. My mother, Nancy Bolton Austin, she was born in 1944. She attended high school, graduated. She has completed her associate degree in counseling from Halifax Technical College. She did this at age 60. But before that, she worked in a factory. And she was a custodian. She's been a teacher's aide, and she's currently a receptionist at the senior center. As you can see, I have drawn a line. These, my father Joseph, and my mother Nancy have been divorced since I was a year old. So I lived in a single family household and didn't really have a lot to do with my father. Hence, my mother having to go back to get her associate's degree so late in life, and having to hold down all these jobs. She worked 3 or 4 jobs at the time to send me to private school. Hence, the factory worker, custodian, teacher aide, anything that she could do to put meat on the table for us, put a meal on the table. So that is her history. And as I said, she went back and obtained her associate degree in counseling at age 60. I fell in love with her knowledge she was gleaning at this time. At this time, I was still a stay-at-home mother. But she, through her courses and through hearing her talk about her degree, I believe that had the first impact on me to head to where I am today in Master's Candidate for Counselor Ed. And this is me, Angela Austin McCoy. I was born in 1972. I have been, over my life, a lifeguard, a babysitter, a teacher. I was certified to teach K-6, reading certified K-12. I taught for 9 years and stayed home when my oldest son was 18 months. Just returned back to grad school. During that time, I have been an office assistant for our family company, and I am co-owner of our two businesses with my husband. We own a spray foam insulation company and a residential construction company. So during that time, I stayed out of work before starting back to grad school. Between the time that I was a teacher, I was involved in our business. And this is me again. I have a BS in elementary education that I got in 1994 from East Carolina. And now I am back as a master's candidate for Counselor Ed. Doing this activity was very impactful for me because it definitely led me to see that I would like to know more about my paternal side. But as you can see, the more education, by my grandmother having gone to college and my mother realizing the value of a college education, even though she was going back at age 60, you can definitely tell where my education and love for education came from, my maternal side. So this was a great activity for me to do, to map out, and I can see how one would definitely use this in trying to find a career and figure out, okay, what are past careers, and how can we move forward in the area of finding a career. Thank you for your time, and I hope everybody has a great week.